Dawn arrives here without mercy. It does not come with birdsong or bells. It seeps in slowly. A thin gray light leaking through the narrow windows set too high to touch. The glass is clouded with years of breath, of fear exhaled in the dark. The light crawls across the concrete floor first, revealing scratches, names carved with spoons, dates that stop too suddenly. The air smells of damp wool, old cabbage, and something sharper, anxiety that has soaked into the walls. Margaret Weiss is awake before the light finds her. She lies stiff on the lower bunk, her spine pressed against cold metal slats. Sleep no longer belongs to her. It circles, approaches, then retreats at every sound. A cough, a sob smothered into fabric, the distant scrape of boots. Not marching. Waiting, she counts her breaths, the way she learned during air. Raids, in, hold, out, again. Her right hand slips beneath her thin pillow and closes around the small object. Hidden there, a cracked hand mirror, no bigger than her palm. She does not look. She only feels its weight, proof that she still exists. Above her, the woman in the top bunk shifts, springs whining softly. "Did you hear?" the woman whispers. Margarete does not answer. Words feel dangerous before dawn. She has heard the stories passed in fragments through the night. They come early. They choose names. They leave bunks empty. They say they do it at dawn. Down the corridor, metal grinds against metal. A door opens. Another closes. Someone begins to pray, stopping halfway through as if afraid even God might be listening. The light reaches Margaret's face, pale, unforgiving. Her fingers tighten around the mirror. She closes her eyes, waiting for her name, for boots, for hands. Dawn has come. It begins with the train. The cattle car smells of rust, old straw, and bodies pressed too close together. The wooden walls are damp with cold, and every breath seems to steal air from someone else. 40 women stand or crouch inside, knees locked, shoulders touching, balance learned through desperation. When the door slams shut, darkness crashes down like a physical thing. For a moment, no one speaks. Then the train jerks forward. Margaret grips her coat tighter around her thin frame. It once belonged to her mother before hunger shrank them both. The buttons do not match. One wood, one bone, one scavenged from a stranger's jacket. Each one tells a smaller story of loss. They say the Americans take women away. A voice whispers near the door. They say worse about the Russians. Another answers quickly, as if speed might turn fear into truth. Someone laughs, a short broken sound, and then stops. The propaganda lives inside them, thick and stubborn. Posters with heroic faces. Radios promising protection while cities burned. Teachers who spoke of enemies as monsters, not men. Margaret had believed it because belief was safer than uncertainty. The train rattles through landscapes she cannot see but imagines. Anyway, fields torn open by shells, villages flattened into memory. Hunger gnaws at her stomach, familiar and dull. Thirst coats her tongue. Someone collapses. Someone prays. Someone quietly soils themselves and sobs with shame. Margarete presses her forehead against the wood. Each vibration shudders through her skull. She thinks of home, not as it is now, but as it once was. A kitchen that smelled of apples. A window that faced a tree still alive. In her pocket is her diary, folded until the creases feel soft. March 3rd. Gunfire again last night. Mother says do not look out the window. I am 22 today. No cake, no candles, only silence. The train does not stop for food. It does not stop for water. When it finally stops, the door slides open and light pours in. Blinding and impossible. Sunlight. Several women cry out. This is not how it was supposed to begin. First shock is not pain. It is silence. No screaming guards. No dogs lunging at chains. No fists. The women step down from the train and wait for the blow that never comes. American soldiers stand nearby, loose and almost careless in their posture. Their uniforms are clean in a way that feels unreal, offensive even. One of them chews gum. Another adjusts his helmet and looks away, as if unsure where to put his eyes. "This is a trick," a woman whispers, her voice cracking. Margaret believes her. She has learned that cruelty often wears a smile first. They are marched, not dragged, across gravel that crunches beneath thin soles. Buildings stand upright. Windows are whole. A truck backfires somewhere beyond the yard. And several women flinch hard enough to cry out, hands flying to their heads. Inside, they are handed objects one by one. Soap. A thick white bar, wrapped in paper printed with blue letters. Margaret stares at it, unmoving. Soap had vanished years ago. replaced by ash, by lye that burned skin, by nothing at all. Her fingers tremble as she lifts it. She brings it to her nose. It smells faintly of flowers. Something inside her chest breaks open. The washroom is filled with steam. Water pours endlessly from metal taps, not measured, not counted. Mirrors line the walls. A woman drops her soap and sinks to the floor, sobbing as if she cannot bend down to retrieve it. When warm water touches Margaret's scalp, she gasps. Dirt spirals down the drain in dark ribbons, years washing away in minutes. She catches her reflection. Hollow cheeks, thinned hair, eyes too large, too watchful. She does not look like an enemy. She looks like someone who has already survived something impossible. And that realization frightens her more than any blow ever could. Save for daily revelations, food in abundance. The first meal arrives without ceremony. Metal trays slide across long wooden tables. Steam rises in slow wavering curls, carrying a smell so rich it makes Margaret's stomach clench painfully. Soup, real soup. She can see pieces of carrot, pale potato, threads of meat floating just beneath the surface. For a moment, no one moves. The room is silent except for breathing. Quick, shallow, disbelieving. Margaret lifts her spoon. Her hand shakes so badly the metal clinks against the bowl. She spills broth onto the table, watching it spread like a stain. Terrified someone will take the food away as punishment. No one does. She tastes it. The warmth floods her mouth, her throat, her chest. Her knees weaken. Around her, women cry openly now, tears dropping into their bowls. One presses her forehead to the table and whispers. It's hot, as if heat itself is a miracle. Bread follows. White bread. Soft. Margarete breaks off a piece and hides it in her sleeve before she can stop herself. The habit is older than thought, older than shame. Later, when she realizes there is more, that there will always be more, she feels foolish and then afraid. At night, her stomach aches not from hunger but from fullness, a sensation she barely remembers. She lies awake listening to the quiet hum of electricity, the distant sound of vehicles moving freely beyond the fence. She takes out her diary, smoothing the page with careful fingers. The food did not hurt me. It did not disappear. I keep waiting to wake up. Sleep comes in fragments. Even in abundance, her body does not trust. Because in Germany, fullness had meant danger. It had meant someone else was starving. And here, with her belly warm and her hands clean, guilt settles in heavier than hunger ever did. They are not beaten. This becomes the strangest truth of all. They are counted each morning, yes, but calmly. Names are spoken without mockery, written down in neat, careful handwriting. When Margaret answers, the American soldier stumbles over her name, tries again, then smiles in quiet apology. No one laughs. No one spits. Their clothes are taken to be washed and returned folded. Blankets appear, thick ones, smelling faintly of soap and storage. When a woman collapses from dizziness, she is helped to a chair. Water is brought without demand. This unsettles Margaret more than cruelty ever could. She had prepared herself for humiliation, for pain that would make sense of the years of fear. Instead, she is offered small, ordinary mercies. A cup held out. A door opened. A voice that says slowly, "It's all right," as if the words themselves might bridge the gap between enemy and human. In the yard, she watches the soldiers from a distance. They smoke. They joke quietly among themselves. One shows another a photograph folded soft with use, a woman, a child, a life untouched by ruins. They look like men who will go home. That night, Margaret whispers to the woman beside her, "Why are they doing this?" The woman shakes her head. "To confuse us," she says. It must be. Margarete wants to believe that. It would be easier. Instead, a terrible thought takes root. What if the lies were the cruelty? She writes in her diary with careful, trembling strokes. They treat us as if we are people. I do not know how to survive this. Because if the enemy is not monstrous, then everything she endured in fear begins to unravel. And in that unraveling, something far more dangerous appears. Doubt. Say 6 for daily revelations, America Beyond the Fence. From the fence line, Margaret can see a road. It curves gently through the distance, smooth and unbroken. Cars pass along it at steady intervals, their engines humming with an ease she has almost forgotten exists. No one is fleeing. No one is running. The world moves forward instead of collapsing inward. Beyond the road are houses. Real houses. They stand upright, their roofs intact, their windows shining back the sunlight. Some have porches. Some have gardens, small patches of green that look impossibly alive. A woman hangs laundry, white fabric snapping in the breeze. Two children ride bicycles in lazy circles, laughing, their voices carrying faintly through the air. Margarete grips the wire of the fence until it bites into her palms. Nothing here is burned. Nothing here is starving. The realization settles slowly, painfully. The war has not touched this place the way it touched home. It has not hollowed it out. Life has continued, comfortably, abundantly, while her world collapsed into rubble and silence. That night, guilt creeps in like cold beneath a door. She eats well now. She sleeps under clean blankets. And somewhere, she imagines her mother, thin, coughing, perhaps already gone, counting potatoes, counting days. The contrast is unbearable. She writes again, her letters slanting with emotion. I am safe where I should not be. I am full while others are empty. I do not know how to carry this. Some women turn their faces away from the fence, unable to look. Others stare until their eyes ache, as if memorizing proof that another reality exists. For Margarete, the intact world beyond the wire is not comfort. It is accusation. If this is possible, she wonders, then why was everything she loved allowed to be destroyed? And what does it mean that the enemy lives like this, whole, unbroken, while she stands here, surviving among the ruins of belief?